Hello everyone. Today's topic is understanding purity and the type of water used in a laboratory. It can be asked as a short note or a long question for MD examination or DNB biochemistry examination. Also questions can be asked in Viva and in practical examinations related to the water and the type of water, quality of water used in the laboratory. Also this is very basic thing for any person who is working in a laboratory or involved in any other procedure which requires high precision and accuracy of the result to know about the water quality and the purity. So first we will try to understand what is the importance of knowing water quality in a laboratory. If we work in a laboratory, we need to be very cautious to reduce the risk of the scientific variability. Also, inattention to the water quality in lab can result in compromised experimental results, can result in contamination of the reagents, or can lead to damage of the equipments on which we are working. Hence, biomedical research, medical professionals, lab professionals should be aware of and familiar with the water quality. And another thing, why water gets contaminated easily? Because water is known as the universal solvent, because most substance, not all I will say, dissolve in water to varying degree than in any other solvent known. This is due to the unique polarity and the hydrogen bond of the water molecule. The same unique molecular property of water account for its ability to react with neutral organic molecules and establish hydrogen bonds with other molecules also. For this reason, water quality is crucial in the lab, because wherever water is required, its reactivity must be taken into account. Water is easily contaminated by the chemical solids, gases, vapors, ions that leach from the containers and pipes in which it is contained and through which it passes. It may include sodium, silica from the glass, plasticizer, ions from the pipings, microbial toxins, etc. Now, third question, how to measure the contaminants present in the water? So, for that there are few parameters which are measured in water to find out if contaminants are present in the water. First one is conductivity. What is conductivity? It is the tendency of water that contains ions to conduct electricity. Means if the water contains ion, it will transmit or it will conduct the electricity. So the water which contains more ion will conduct more electricity, and that is less pure water. So high conductivity in water means less purity of the water. So it provides a valuable but non-specific indication of the level of ions in the water. And this is typically, conductivity is typically measured for type 3, type 4 water. What is type 3, type 4 water? We will discuss in further video. More the ions present, higher is the conductivity. So unit for measurement of conductivity is Siemens, microsiemens per centimeter or micromole per centimeter. Second parameter to measure for testing the contaminants in water is the resistivity. Conductivity is opposite of resistivity. It is the tendency of water without ions to resist conducting electricity. So if the water is unable to conduct electricity, it means its resistance is high. Conductivity is opposite of resistivity. So if water has high conductivity means low resistivity or high resistivity means low conductivity. So resistivity is primarily used in the assessment of ultra pure water, because the water will not contain any ions, so means it is more pure. So it is used in the assessment of ultra pure water and normally used for type 1 and type 2 water. The unit is mega ohm centimeter. We know that from physics the unit of measurement of resistance is ohm, so that's why here it is mega ohm centimeter. Third one is total organic levels or organic compound levels in water. The organic compound in water can exist in several forms, and so measuring each and every compound is impractical. Okay, Therefore, the most useful indicator of measurement of organic compound level in water is the TOC, or the total organic carbon. So by which we measure the presence of organic contaminants found in water. The unit of measurement is ppm or ppb, that is parts per million or parts per billion. Next, at a minimum, water should be tested for pH, TOC, that is total organic carbon, and resistivity. The maximum interval in testing the water quality should be 1 week. So ideally it should be tested according to the procedure which is being carried out, and maximum interval which is specified is 1 week. Now coming to another term, reagent grade water. What is reagent grade water, or in short form RGW? It is the water that is suitable for use in a specified procedure such that it does not interfere with the specificity, accuracy, precision of the procedure. So that is known as reagent grade water, means very pure water. Now there are various boards which set the standard for water purity. So one of these is the CLSI, board setting the standards of water specificity. One is CLSI, that is Clinical and Laboratory Standard Institute. It according to it, the criteria for reagent water is this: the microbial content in colony forming unit per ml should be around 10, resistivity mega ohm centimeter greater than equals to 10, silicate particles 0.05, particulate matter, water should be able to pass through a micrometer filter, 0.2 micrometer filter. And to test the presence of organics, water should be organic compounds, water should pass through activated carbon. So these are the guidelines, these are the various specifications given by CLSI for the reagent water. Next board is the ISO, that is International Organization for Standardization. The ISO based its specification on ISO 3696 1987, and it specifies 3 grades of water, that is grade 1, grade 2 and grade 3. Third board for giving specification for water purity is American Society for Testing and Materials, ASTM. So usually we follow the guidelines which is given by ASTM. According to it, water has been classified into 4 types: type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4 water. What is type 1 water? It is the ultra pure water, purest form of water that can be produced. This water is used in methods requiring minimum interference and maximum accuracy and precision. Like it is used in the critical applications and advanced analytical procedure, for example HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography, GC, gas chromatography, IPC, MS, inductively coupled plasma mass spectroscopy, cell and tissue culture, blank preparations, preparation of calibrators, solutions of reference material. For this we know the highest purity is to be maintained, that is why it requires type 1 water. Another important point here is to note that the water should be used immediately after production, because no specification has been mentioned about the storage of water, because by storage anyhow any type of contaminants can affect the water quality. So no specification has been given to store the type 1 water. It should be immediately prepared and immediately used. Second, coming to what is the type 2 water. This water does not have same pureness as the type 1 water, but still maintains high level of purity. It can be used in general lab practices, electrochemistry, general spectrophotometry. The storage to be kept minimum, and delivery system should be constructed to ensure minimum of chemical or bacterial contamination, and it can be used as feed water for type 1 water production. Means feed water means the type 2 water can be used to prepare type 1 water. Next, coming to what is type 3 water. This water is produced through RO process, that is reverse osmosis process. It has the lowest level of purity, but It is typically the starting point for basic laboratory applications like cleaning the glasswares, water bath, general urine analysis, etc. It can be used as feed water for type 1 water production. Now, how the reagent grade water is prepared, or the water which can be used in the lab prepared. There are various methods. First one is distillation. It is the process of vaporizing and condensing a liquid to purify a substance or to separate a volatile from a less volatile substance. The disadvantage of this method for preparing the reagent grade water is that the risk of carryover of volatile impurities which have less boiling point, entrapment or entrapped water droplets that may contain impurities into the purified water. This will result in contamination of the distillate with volatiles and other substances like sodium, potassium, manganese, carbonate, sulfate, etc. Second method is reverse osmosis. Here water is forced through a semi-permeable membrane that acts as a molecular filter. It removes bacteria, inorganic compounds, organic compounds, but dissolved gases here are not removed effectively, and RO requires, or reverse osmosis require, pre-treatment of feed water to avoid damage to the membrane by chlorine mineral deposits. Now, third one is ion exchange or deionization method, or DI water we say. Ion exchange is the process that removes ions to produce mineral free deionized water. Here the method is the water is passed through columns containing insoluble resin polymers that exchange H plus and OH minus ions for the various impurities present in the water. So the column may contain either cation exchanger or anion exchanger or a mixed bed exchanger, and this technology produces the resistivity required for type 1 water, means this method produces good quality or ultra pure water. Next method is UV oxidation. Photochemical oxidation with UV light can eliminate trace organics at 185 nanometer and inactivate microorganisms at 254 nanometer. The oxidation of organic content results in water with low total organic carbon, but it does not remove ions, colloids or particulates. So for different methods are there to remove different types of impurities present in water, and a combination of these methods will result in the production of good quality or a type 1 or type 2 water as required by the procedure involved. So this is all about the water quality and the purity of water which are used in the laboratory. Thank you.